And there we go. We're live here in Living Color. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a really fun stream. I know you're used to seeing me and Nikki on Mondays. We'll be playing games or building gingerbread houses or whatever kind of bullshit. But today we have the honor and the privilege of picking the brain of a veteran in the wrestling business, a legend, NWA champion. He's done it all. He's done amazing things and is respected by some of the greats, some of the greatest of all time. In fact, I met this man because Ricky Morton handpicked him to come train his students at the School of Morton. Damien Wayne, glad to have you here, bro.
It's my pleasure, guys, man. Appreciate it very much.
This shit is so cool because, like, I've been thinking for months. I'll see you on Facebook and you just drop these bombs, right? If it's not every day, it's like every other day. It's like, hey, guys, check this out. And a large majority of the time, it's what a lot of people are thinking, but not necessarily what they have the balls to say.
Yeah.
Right? And
I agree. Yeah. But
and I just
like me, I don't have anything. I can't say not to look forward to, but I'm not chasing a contract. I'm not trying to chase. I just turned 50, so I'm not. I know I'm not going anywhere. So I can speak up because I don't have to worry about trying to be a good guy to these national companies and whatnot. So, I mean, I don't try to bury stuff. I just, if it don't make sense, I'm gonna call it out.
right, which is respectable, and that's also. That's something that I've noticed in the wrestling business. It happens quite a bit, but it usually happens like behind closed doors or, hey, let me tell you what I think about this that's going on just to you. But then that person walks through and it's like, oh, hey, brother, how's it going? Oh, yeah. But then they leave and it's like, yeah, this jackass, this, that, and the third. But you're one of those people that just kind of says it and that's your opinion and you don't feel like you're doing anything wrong but just being real, and it's like an authentic thing, and I appreciate that. There's another guy, Scene Nick does that as well. If he
Yeah,
thinks something, it's out there.
yeah, you're right. Sometimes it gets us in trouble, but I mean, I, I'm the type that don't blow smoke up my ass. Don't do any of that shit. That's like, when I was talking about training and people getting butt hurt when you tell them stuff they do wrong and whatnot, and this and that. Me, I'm like, dude, if you need to hurt my feelings and make me cry so I can get better, then you better hurt my feelings. Be
Yeah.
honest with me. So yeah, it's just being honest about things. I know I live in the past, but the old school still works. And my main thing is believability. And if it's not, people can pick that apart too, talking about, oh, hey, you whip a guy in the ropes. He's not really gonna bounce off.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between that and say what happened this past Wednesday night on or Friday night on Rampage. Big difference and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it just like you were saying. The reason that this happened is because you brought up that a lot of heels or people want heels to be like they were in the Attitude Era, but heels nowadays and performers nowadays just seem to be thin-skinned to the point where they can't take what real heat brings from other people.
No, they can't. They want their thought of heat is getting the people to boo, but they're smiling and laughing at the same time they're booing you. Well, no, that's not real heat. Real heat is where you got them so pissed off you want to charge the ring and eat your ass. They're
Right.
not smiling when they're booing you.
Right.
So, I mean, I just, and it's like I said, getting in anything in the spotlight, if you're in the people's spotlight, the public eye, you need to be ready for criticism, and you can't be thin-skinned to where so and so called me a sorry wrestler. He hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
You can't do it, man. You just can't. I've had, it's like I said, I've had some very effed up stuff said to me in
Yeah.
all kinds of ways. And I'm a major mama's boy, and my mom's been gone since 2010. And when I get your mama this, and it takes all I can to bite my lip, and it's not, but I can't. Now, if we're out in
Right.
the street at a 7-Eleven and you say something, game's on. But
Right. We got some
in that
Russian hackers
situation,
in the fucking chat over here. Fuck off, you
yeah.
Russian hacker bastards. But yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing that really fucks with me a lot of times, because like we were talking about before we went live, I am able to talk shit. Like that's where I'm at when it comes to moves and all this stuff. Obviously, people like you came through, and Ricky taught me less is more when it comes to ring work and making shit matter, and all that stuff. That helps somebody like me, that you don't have to tell me to slow down, like I got you there. So like the talking shit part is what I can do to make people believe that little stuff, and like really invest in them touching me at all mattering, is me saying fucked up shit about them and being arrogant and being a prick, and like, saying some stuff that may not be the most politically correct. But you do that in professional wrestling, and it's as if you went in front of, people at the presidential address and was like, by the way, this bigoted opinion is truly mine to my heart and soul. But it's like, they don't do that to the guy that plays like some dickhead in a movie. Like Leonardo DiCaprio is an outcast for being a Django,
Yep.
But as a professional wrestler, if Mr. Wayne here were to step in the ring and say that, something derogatory towards women and their role in American society, you might very well get fired from working places.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. I use this example. Yeah, everybody can't be like this, but I wish everybody could try to be like this. But I shared a video. I cannot remember the guy's last name's Jones, something Jones. He's a black guy, black wrestler, and I
Uh-huh.
want to say it's somewhere here in Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken from reading the stuff. But this town he wrestles in, all white people, probably 5 out of 7 people got some kind of Confederate flag, either a hat,
Oh,
shirt,
yeah.
jacket,
Mm-hmm.
something.
Of
And
course they do.
this guy is eating it up. He gets out there in the ring and on the mic, and he lets every single one of them people have it, to where there's almost, I mean, it's freaking hilarious to see him get these white people riled.
Sounds like some New
Now,
Jack shit.
any other today would have wanted that company shut down, and they're all racist, and they're all
Yeah.
this, and they're all that. But this guy was eating it up, man, eating it up. And I
Yeah.
mean, he had the security had to walk him to the dressing room and walk him to the ring and everything else, but he was eating it up. He had these 2 white girls dressed up in, skimpy outfits. I mean, he was giving it to them, dude.
Dude.
I wish I tried to find the video the other day for somebody and I couldn't find it again, but it's hilarious.
That's epic. And that takes
Yes,
balls, dude.
yes,
That takes some
yes.
balls.
I mean, I did it not long ago there in Richmond, Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
Probably about 7, 8 years ago. I had a show there for GXW, and it was at a bar that I actually did a show
At a
for
bar.
NWA.
Nice.
Yeah, it was on First Street there in Richmond. It was at a bar, and we had a show there a while back for NWA Virginia, and it was a great time. David Flair was there. It was a really good show.
Oh,
Kind of
shit.
ended up. So I go back for this one, and of course, I'm there early, and this and that. Well, as people start coming, it's getting that time. People's coming to the bar. It turns out to be an all-black bar, which I'm
Uh-huh.
perfectly fine with.
Right.
I'm a hip hop head. I love fucking hip hop music, this and that. So I was fine with it. I'm in the main event against my buddy Pharaoh, who's a black guy. I'm the heel, he's the baby. I went out there and I mean, I had these people to where they were literally pie facing me when I was on out there on the, beating him up on the
Yeah.
right there in front of them. I mean, they literally looked like they were wanting to kill me and whip my ass to where when the match was over and I got to the back and I got dressed, I was literally peeking around the corners, seeing if I could sneak out to the parking lot. I saw my wife. I said, "Come on, let's go, let's go." We turn around the corner, and there was this group that I was really getting into it with, and I was like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
what am I gonna do now?" And I mean, they were coming towards me.
Right.
They got towards me, and they were all, "You were the baddest motherfucker out there. You were the coolest dude. You did this, you did that, man. Can we buy you a beer? Can we do that?" And
That's awesome.
Yeah. So sometimes the fans get it. Sometimes they get a little overboard, but they're there to have fun. Man. They might say some outlandish shit to you, but you gotta think, man. If I'm doing my job and I'm getting them so pissed off that they gotta say some derogatory shit to me, then I did a real good job of pissing them off.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's awesome, man. And I see people, we got people in the comment section where they're asking questions. They're wanting to know some things. Just to let y'all know, this is a really special opportunity for us. So I want to get some of these stories out, and later on down the road, if that's okay with you, we'll get to their questions and answer some stuff.
However you want to do it, bud.
Yeah. But yeah, man, that's what it's all about. That energy, dude, I can't stand. I would rather go to jail than have a motherfucker sitting on their hands. And I have bipolar disorder. I'm a little bit nuts, Me and my tag team partner, I don't know if we can't be the only tag team that's been institutionalized, but we both have had our papers, man, and can prove that shit. But, there's something about the both of us, man, that we just can't stand not being noticed and making people feel something with us. Whether that be negative or positive, the last thing I want is somebody walking out there without an opinion of me. Who was it? I don't know who you're talking about. Motherfucker, you're going to know who I am.
I think I just shared something not long ago. I think right when I got out of Facebook jail, I shared it, or I might have shared it on Instagram. But yeah, I've been in there quite a bit. I said something along the lines of, I don't need to be this, I don't need to be that, something like that. You may not even know who I am, but I guarantee you by the end of the night, you will remember.
Yeah.
One way or another, you will remember. Good or bad, you will remember me.
Well, I love this sense that I get from a lot of things that you say, that you value mortality, that you value the fact that any given day, this could be it.
Oh yeah.
Making everything count. Yeah.
So, I mean,
same for me.
I was 30 years old.
Dude, I was 27 years old when I started training. I'm 32 now.
And when I got in, I was content and happy. If I was just doing that once a month on a Sunday right there in my little back.
Dude.
I was happy. So all the things that's ever happened to me in this business is icing on the cake and a dream come true. So I don't take any of it, whatever the word is, lightly or whatever. It all means so much to me. Like I said, even the bad things that's happened to me means so much. And it's part of my journey. It's part of my story.
So far, what's that peak? What's that moment that you look back on now and you're just like, man, usually when people are entertainers, they'll hit something and then they're chasing that. Like I've done that. There's shows that I'm still chasing right now.
Well, I was chasing Japan, and the story on that is, always wanting to go to Japan. That's my style, the stiff style.
Yeah, stiff.
That's me. I love the Hansons, the Brodies, and the Funks. I'll watch that all day before I watch anything today. But me and my partner, a guy named Lance Erickson, we were the Lords of Chaos, and We teamed together. We basically we feuded for about 2 years, and then we decided to get together and tag for
Baked it up.
NWA. And for like 3 years, dude, we busted our ass. We put almost 178,000 miles on his car, 2.5 years
God damn.
of busting our ass. And the opportunity came. We were freaking booked to go to New Japan and beat Tenzan and Kojima for the NWA World Tag Team titles and bring them back to the States. And this fool for 3 months lied about being able to get a passport. Couldn't get a passport. So all that work down the drain.
No!
Yes. Yes.
God, dude. That is broken.
They loved us because it was right after they came to Texas for that big weekend. New Japan came to Texas for that big weekend thing, and we were there a part of it. And they loved us because, for one, when we did the tryouts in front of all the New Japan brass and they had everybody pair off, we made sure we paired off against each other.
Yeah.
Because he was freaking Hanson and I was Terry Funk, and we beat the daylights out of each other, dude. And they loved us. They loved everything about us.
Yeah.
And he threw it all down the fucking drain, man. Threw it all down the drain. That's just one heartbreak with the NWA. Shit, the other heartbreak is I was told for 3 months I was going to be the NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
God.
Only to get in my car on that very day and drive 8 hours to New Jersey and walk into the building, get told, we're going to go a different route and swerve the fans because all the fans think you're going to win it. So we want to make them not do it here. We're going to give it to Cahagas. Yeah, so I got punished because all the fans thought I was going to win the belt.
Dude, that sounds like the fucking situation with Jake the Snake and fucking Hogan, right? Was it whenever... You know, you have these situations where guys who are just magnetic, you know, like you have that charisma that's like similar to somebody like Jake, you know. I see your presence out there, and it's just like, this grizzly ass motherfucker is dangerous, you know, like people love that. And to see opportunities for people like that, like they finally did something sweet whenever they let Austin be as badass as he was. But you take people like Austin and Sid Vicious and Jake and all these just people that were badass motherfuckers that could have totally been that guy for a little bit, passed over for whatever fucking reason, man. I hate to hear that for you, man.
Yeah, like I said, I hear guys all the time bitch and complain about the business, and it's usually over a spot or a bookie or over this or that. And I'm like, dude, I could tell you shit that would have made you fucking quit the business.
Yeah.
But the passion's just too strong, man. It's just too strong to ruin it because I have fun everywhere else I go. You know?
Yeah.
I don't. I don't think there's really anything that could kill my passion for wrestling, because it's not wrestling that's doing it to me. It's some of the people that's in the business that's doing it to me.
Dude, and that's the thing that keeps me coming back to it is, you know, I've had these issues that have nothing to do with booking. I don't have to have a belt. The only title I need is the one that I've created for myself. You know, that's what I want to be. Me. And when it comes to belts and things, it doesn't matter to me, but there is a level of like self-respect I have and dignity and morality. It's not even morality. It's just common decency where like racism, homophobia, like certain ground rules where I just like, as a human being, this line you can't cross with me or I can't be associated with you. And
yeah.
I've noticed so many people that, is it for a spot? Is it for exposure? Is it for whatever? Who just, that's not me. I'm just here to work. I'm just here to, you know.
My home company, back home there in Norfolk, Hampton, Virginia, my home company where I trained, where I broke in, where I came up through, I can't even go back to because the owner got called out during that speak up movement
Yeah.
that was going.
Yeah.
And supposedly he's not even a part of it no more, which we know is BS. But the company is like now, tainted because of that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of us that won't even touch it. And then there's all the ones still working there, and we're just like, dude, y'all are just like selling your soul for a freaking booking.
Yeah, whatever that means,
And then there's a majority of the guys they booked that probably has no clue that that stuff even went down.
That sucks.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I hate being the one to be like, hey man, just reaching out to you to let you know what kind of company you're working for.
And then
Yeah,
that puts you in a category of this guy plays politics or this. And it's like,
exactly.
what is political about saying that, like, cross this line, you do not pass? Like, be a decent motherfucker. Don't be a scumbag. I'm not trying to be with any Nazis, any, homophobes, whatever. And I'll see these same promoters call everyone, every homophobic slur that you can imagine and mean it. And then be like, but we need one of them on the card.
Yeah.
And they'll say that about different races too. Oh, we don't
Oh
need
yeah.
to book him. We've already got one of them.
Oh yeah. It's everywhere, unfortunately.
And so that's the and I appreciate this conversation because it's always difficult for people to speak about. It sucks to have to even talk about it. But it's
It
a
does.
nature of the beast that nobody wants to bring up. And if you do, I have been a certain amount of blackballed over that. And a certain amount of, I will shake hands with the devil to make sure them boys don't get booked nowhere kind of
Yes.
thing. So
Yeah.
to me, as a guy who's only a couple years in, I stayed in school for 2 straight years, and then trying to get out here and do my thing. Do you have any advice for just being real and being able to navigate the waters and let people know what you're about beyond what people are saying?
No, I mean, no, I mean, I'm just me, and that's anybody that's been around me knows what I'm about, and that's all that matters. If you don't know me, then I can't change that. You're gonna,
Yeah.
you're gonna form your whatever about me that you want. But I, I tell guys all the time that my reputation in the business and what my peers think about me means so much more to me than any accomplishment I've ever did in the business. I'd rather be I'd rather be respected than any title, any place on the face of the earth to be able to go wrestle. If I'm not respected, then why? I I see guys that are not respected, and they're just. I'm like, I do not want to be that at
Mm-hmm.
all. So I just I try to help. I've always been the one that wants to help. I've always been the guy, I'm not saying I know everything, but I think I got a pretty good grasp on the business. I was lucky enough to live through true kayfabe years, so I know what kayfabe is truly about,
Yeah.
and I always preach. So I just posted that the other day. I truly wish every guy that's in the business or wants to get in the business could have experienced true kayfabe. And I
Dude,
guarantee you the business wouldn't get shitted on the way it's getting shitted on.
I promise
Plain
one
and
thing you
simple.
will never see from me is me thanking my opponent and hugging them in pictures and just being like, this is my buddy. Because what I've
That's behind
created,
closed doors.
yeah, what I've
That's behind
created
closed doors.
is if I'm not in the ground, know that I'm thinking about strangling you to death while I'm in the hospital. Just know that.
Oh
Even if
yeah.
I win, it's point blank. That's the way it is. And so I love that because it just makes it so much more fun for everybody. It just makes it so much more fun. There are many times in even my favorite movies or whatever, I'll see the bad guy play a good guy and I'll be like, man, that sucks. Fuck that. Like, I don't like
Yeah.
this guy.
I I tell you one thing. I get more. What's the word? I get more stuff from fans, more thank yous, more all of that from being a heel, from being a guy that tells you you suck and shut up, sit down in your seat, this and that, and blah, 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 blah. I get more of that because I get, it's like I ask my wife, and it's kids too. I'm like, kids love me, even as a bad guy. Kids, and I'm talking 5 years old to 9 years old, boy and girl, love me to death for some reason. I'm
Yeah.
like, honey, I looked at my wife and I'm like, honey, why do these kids like this ugly, old, grizzled, mean asshole? And they're like, and her exact comments to me was, you give them attention. You give them attention.
Yeah.
And that's what they're looking for.
It's a shared experience, really. It is.
Guys just don't get it. They don't, man. They really, I don't know. I ain't worried about being cool, and I think that's the problem with a lot of people. They're trying to be cool.
It's always about, like, I don't know, man. It's like there's this club of, like, I want to make sure that we're good because you might be able to get me something. Like, I want to impress you and make sure that, like, oh, yeah, and to me, it's like, why, when there are so many interesting personalities, like, so many things to learn from each person there in the locker room that you run across, that it don't even have to be like that. Everybody in the wrestling business is a unique, interesting character. Even the shitbag people have some interesting shit about them. It may be ridiculous, but it's still kind of interesting, more so than just these lame ass do nothing motherfuckers that just aren't even there, right?
Yeah.
It's a room full of entertainers. So a lot of it baffled me. I started out as like a musician first, and like on stage and theater and stuff. So like the whole kayfabe aspect, to me, the most beautiful thing that I ever saw was the Lawler Andy Kaufman angle. Mm-hmm. Like, to me, that was just like, yes, dude. It's talk about somebody who gets kayfabe. Andy Kaufman, that's it. You live the fucking thing when people are looking at you. And, like, they will never know, like, to the point where they question whether this man actually died of cancer or not. People showing up to his funeral don't know. Is he about to pop out? Like, and him working with Lawler, that whole Memphis thing, like, of course, Hogan, the Attitude Era and shit like that. When I saw Lawler and Andy Kaufman, I was like, dude, I would die. That is the best gag. That is the best, like, having people that invested. I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Is that a huge one for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big one for me. I mean, I loved it because, I mean, look at all the celebrity things done since then. Did you believe any of it? Honestly,
no,
we didn't do.
Mike Tyson, you never know. I mean, that one.
Yeah, you can almost get that. I mean, and it's always they bring in these celebrities, and these celebrities beat up your wrestlers.
Yeah.
Come on now. I mean, seriously.
I mean, Tyson Fury might have been able to, but
Yeah,
but
there's
like,
certain things, but I mean,
not Snoop Dogg, man. Snoop Dogg. I'm sorry, not Snoop Dogg, dude.
And I had a few. I tell you the one that impressed me the most, and I was like, man, I hope this guy follows along. Is when D'Angelo Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Running back from the Panthers did a couple matches for TNA, and I was like, this dude's actually pretty freaking good.
Some people just...
some of the people are natural. They're naturals. I've had the honor to train or, help out a few guys, and I'm like, man, I was considered natural. I mean, my tryout day, it was like 27 of us or so. And with that situation, I was 30. The next closest guy to me was 22. So I was like way older than everybody. Anyways, they taught us they were showing us how to do, bump, the little squat down, cross your arms and this and that. And when I backyard growing up, we did what we saw on TV.
Yeah.
On the grass. I was bumping on grass. I was getting power slammed on grass. I was getting suplexed on grass.
Yeah.
So that little squat and cross your arms thing wasn't working for me. So I was like, can I bump the way I know how to bump? And it's been almost 20 years since that backyard. But I was like, can I bump? And I snap bump, and a little snap bump, snap bump. And the two guys that ended up being my trainers just kept kind of giving me a mean eye. Then it come the time to run the ropes, and they were like, this is like the hardest thing to learn, this and that, da 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 da. And I was about 19, 20 in the line of about 27 guys. So I was kind of far back. And there was guys tripping over their own feet, falling
Oh yeah.
ropes, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I got up there and doom, 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 doom. They pulled me over, and I was like, oh, fuck, I'm in trouble now. Because I heard the stories.
Yeah, blowing you up and shit if you fuck up.
That or, trying to show off and this and that. And they were like, you sure you ain't never trained before? And I was like, dude, I'm 30 years old. I ain't never been in no fucking ring. I said, I backyard when I was a little kid. They were like,
right,
man, you're in here doing the shit. Looks like you've been doing it for 15 years or so. Well, I guess that's kind of good in a way, ain't it?
Fuck yeah.
So, I was a natural. So there's, and I got brought down to earth real quick, believe me. Started training, they brought me down to earth, but I was considered a natural. So that, there's naturals out there, and they just pick it up like that. And, it's like I just watched a video of a kid's first match, just me and my wife, just a little while, because my wife's, it's funny because we grew up in the same area, about 1,000 mutual friends, never crossed paths. We didn't know each other back then. She was going to Crockett Promotions and watching it. I was going, so she's old school too. And I tell guys, if you want an honest opinion about your match, go ask my wife, because she'll tell you straight up, you're fucking good or you freaking suck. She will break it down for you.
I will make sure to steer clear.
For me, every time I wrestle, it's a challenge for me because she can't catch me talking. And whenever I blade, she can't catch me blading. And it kind of pisses her off because she can catch everybody else. So it's a challenge for me.
Hell yeah.
I wrestle in front of her. But, we just watched a match of a kid. It was his first time. She watched it. I watched it a while back. But fucking great. Amazing for his first match. I was like, the kid, keeps his head on straight. World's his. Because that first match was freaking amazing.
Who was it?
I can't remember the kid's name. I'll have to go look it up. Young black kid. Really, really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
I know a lot of people are over the moon over this Hook kid, Taz's son or something like that. I've never seen him.
Dude, I heard a podcast, I think it was a podcast, and they were talking about him. Might have been Cornette, and putting him over. It was his debut match against that Del Fuego kid.
Yeah.
So I went and watched it. And I was like, yeah, I like this kid. I like his swag. Everything he did in the ring was real. No wasted movement, slow pace, and laid it in there. I was like, fucking great. Then I hear about this little no-sell from a 300-pound guy giving him a Rikishi driver. He no-sold, pop right back up. One of the Bear Country guys gave him a Rikishi driver. 300 pounds to a 190-pound guy, and he no-sold it, pop right up.
He did that Leo Rush shit.
Yes. And then you got full. And you want to know how his dad defended him? I just saw the little thing from one of the news sites. He shared a clip of an early Bret Hart versus Tiger Mask in Japan, and Bret punched Tiger Mask bumped, kicked up, and kicked Bret. So he basically no-sold a punch. And I'm like, okay, so you are seriously comparing a no-sell from a punch from two guys that are basically the same size, which you see every day in a street fight. Guys,
yeah, it happens.
Getting tagged straight in the face and no-selling it and keep fighting. So that makes sense. To comparing that to your son, 190 pounds, taking a Rikishi driver from a 300-pound guy and saying that's the same thing.
No, it's not.
I lost all respect for Taz over that. And then I just had a fan in another site try to tell me that the Rikishi driver has nothing to do with weight. what is the weight got to do? I was like, so you're telling me that
What?
if a 190-pound guy gave me a Rikishi driver, it's going to be the same impact as a 300-pound guy giving me a hit. I was like,
No.
dude, shut the
No.
fuck up.
Right.
Seriously.
And it's probably somebody who's never taken a move in their life, too.
It was a fan. It was a fan. It was a mark.
Let me tell
And,
you, some stuff you really have to take a lot. You know, I mean, there's some stuff that you don't have to take as much of, and it just looks badass. But some of the shit that don't look like much, you got to take all of, and it really sucks. But
it's like I said, hey, if Del Fuego gave him a Rikishi driver and he no-sold that, hey, great. That makes sense. A guy smaller or your same size gives you a move and you can no-sell it. Great. I'm all for that. But a guy twice your size, that would be like big Mark Henry giving the world's strongest slam to Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio no-selling it.
no sells it, yeah. Well, that really cuts down, you know, this guy that is probably going to need to have a few more matches in his career ever.
Well,
you know,
the thing is that situation there. Here, everybody is talking about Hook, but the thing they're forgetting about is the other guy. Now, who is this 300-pound guy going to hurt now? He shouldn't be able to hurt anybody if he couldn't hurt a 190-pound guy.
Exactly.
How's he going to get in a match with Lance Hoyt and do anything to Lance Hoyt, Lance Archer, whatever you want to call him? Seriously.
But what are you going to do to change the course on that when things have been going that way so hard for so long? You just have to pick and choose, you know.
I can change them on the shows I'm on. That's all I can do. Or I can get their ass when they walk through that curtain. I did it, and I'll do it again and over and over and over.
Yeah.
How dare you are? I mean, come on.
Well, damn, Austin Aries did that shit, you know.
And see, I was an Aries fan, but that pissed me off. I was like, dude, you don't do that shit. I don't care how pissed off you are at a company. Go do your job, and then you handle this business part of it behind closed doors.
And, you know, Johnny Wrestling, class act, great guy, you know, one hell of a talent. I met the guy. I went to Future Stars of Wrestling in Las Vegas. My boy Rocky T that runs the promotion had me come out and let me kind of check it out when I first started because we were homies, and he's the realest, man. I don't know if you've ever met that guy, but I definitely need to introduce y'all. But he introduced me to Johnny Wrestling. We cut a little promo and shit, and I might as well at that point have been a fan who had taken a few bumps. You know, like I had not even really had a match yet, trying to get there, and he treated me just like $1 million. You know, this is a guy who'd done all kinds of shit at that point, been on Survivor, WWE, done all this shit, and like, why would you treat somebody like that way? But when you have a problem with the Office, you know, no selling its finish for his winning the world title of the company that you're in, like, he didn't do anything to Austin Aries.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault, so why are you going to shit on him?
But he really did, man. That was
really
fucked
bad.
up. So yeah, I don't know what that situation is about, because that's like just kind of spitting on what you're trying to do. Like the whole point of what you're trying to do, that defeats the whole purpose, unless you're more interested in being a model and an acrobat. If that's all you want to do is be like, look, my body looks good and I can do cartwheels, then you don't even need to do any moves. Just jump around and show up.
Unfortunately.
But we've got some questions. I've had these people just waiting patiently to ask you some questions. One that I found really interesting that I saw earlier, because I posted on the Discord that we were going to be having this chat and for people to think up some stuff. Someone asked, does your name have anything to do with a DC Comics character that debuted in 1984, the son of Batman?
No, because it might have debuted like back then, but did you ever really hear anything about it?
Oh, no.
Nothing.
It was pretty obscure.
Yeah, it was pretty obscure. And when I was backyard and junior high and high school and whatnot, I had my fictional character to where I knew back then I knew I was gonna be a pro wrestler.
Right.
But my character was Mr. Magnificent Ron Anthony.
That's
That's
pretty
who I
cool.
was, and that's who I wanted to be. And so whenever I started training, uh, the company had a wrestler named Mark Anthony. So I knew that name won't happen for me. So then when it actually came down to training and saying, hey man, let's start thinking of some names and this and that, I was going to use my son's name, Devin Wayne. And because Wayne Costle's my shoot name, the Damien Wayne, so
Right.
Damien my wrestling name and the Wayne Costle's my shoot name, but I keep it together so for him and whatnot. But anyway, my son's name's Devin Wayne Costle. So I was like, I'm going to use Devin Wayne. And a couple weeks later, my first pro match, which wasn't happening at that moment, but it was all being laid out. But my first pros match was turning on a fellow trainee and joining this heel manager whose name was Devin Sturgis. So they didn't want two Devins. I'm like, come on, guys, y'all are killing me here.
Come
So
on.
I constantly got you look freaking evil, your eyes are sunk in your head, you look mean, you don't even ever have to talk type thing. I got that. So they were telling me that. And I was like, okay. So when I went home thinking of names, I'm like, evil, evil, evil. I wrote some names down, but when I started thinking evil, I was like, Omen, Damien, son of Damien, yeah, Damien. I threw Damien with Wayne because I just
Yeah.
wanted to use Devin Wayne. And that was one of the 6 names I sent my 2 trainers and the promoter, and they all came. We all decided on Damien Wayne. So, and then I think after that it was like a year or maybe even 2 years. This was 2002,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to say it was about a year after that the comic book character really
Right.
came out and got me. And
Which
it's like,
is
like,
not
what
a bad
is it? And I was
thing.
like,
I
no.
mean, you could be, named like Jesse Smollett or something like that, and then it turns out really fucked up for you.
Yeah,
But
no shit.
Damian Wayne is a fucking badass, dude. Like, he's Batman's son with like a ninja sensei's daughter who is trained as like an assassin and then comes to Gotham eventually and works with
Yeah, so
Batman.
I think I'm one of the only few workers or wrestlers that hasn't never been to a comic book kid.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you the first thing about comics other than Spider-Man, Batman, and I couldn't even tell you much about them.
Well, what's your thing outside of wrestling? Is it just that? Are you like one of those guys who just
Nah,
obsessed with the business, or?
I was obsessed with the business and wanting to be a wrestler, but I'm a sports freak. I'll play and watch any sport. I
Awesome.
played baseball for 23 years. When wrestling's over, I would love to coach varsity high school baseball.
Dude,
Um,
that's
you
awesome.
know, I love football. I love any sport. I got 5 dogs and 2 cats, so I'm a dog, animal person. Love my animals, and well, I got an interest in Hot Wheels. I collect Hot Wheels,
There you
muscle
go.
car Hot Wheel cars. I got about 400 or 500, Hot Wheel cars of that. So just typical, same, everyday person type things. And
That's very cool. I know a couple of guys that collect Hot Wheels, and there's some of those that are unbelievably valuable. And they're not
see,
even
I'm just
old.
finding
They're
that out.
like, like
I'm just fine. I
10
don't
years
know much
old.
about it because I take all mine out of the case. I got them in curio cabinets. I take them
Yeah.
out of the cases and put them up at the curio cabinets. And I started getting a part of these little Facebook groups and stuff, and I'm like, damn, that car is pretty expensive. Damn,
Yeah.
damn. There's these what are they, THs or some shit like that? That's supposed to have a little stamp sticker on the car, and they're supposed to
Yeah.
be valuable and all this. And I got one of those, and I didn't even know I had that until I took a picture of my stuff and shared it on one of their Facebook pages. And they're like, "Oh man, you got the blah 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 Chevelle." And I'm like, "Oh, I do?
I do. Yeah.
Holy hell!"
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I've found some video games that I've had have gone outrageously expensive, where everything's going more digital, like physical media is becoming valuable. Because you got to think about it. Without DVDs, where are you even going to watch this shit, right? Because then you got to pay for a subscription, and they're chopping that up. That's going to get thinner and thinner, where you got to have 80 subscriptions. So your DVDs are going to be worth money soon, like physical media, because they're going to eventually stop selling it. That way they can manipulate their media and take it away when they want to, or, you know, it's...
WWE's already announced that.
I mean...
They're not selling DVDs. They're not going to do DVDs no more.
Not far behind is going to be video games, movies, so that's all on subscription-based platforms. And if they want to just be like, oh, we're going to take this show off the air for a little while and then offer it back later, that's on them. You can't even decide
when. They'll charge you for it. Yeah, exactly.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens to all media that way.
Yeah.
Wrestling is one of those things that just can't seem to make up its fucking mind where it wants to present itself. It's like, give me a fucking break, man. There have been a billion different subscription services for almost every single company that there is out there. And, you know, I guess wrestling has always kind of been that way because the territories were broke up on different stations. And then even the large companies, you had, you know, the North and the South and all that. But, like, you would think, given the stability of all these different platforms that exist, and all you have to do is diversify and adapt to how you advertise, that they could maintain their own site. And, like, was the network really fucking up that bad? I thought it was great there in the middle of its lifetime. It was doing pretty good, you know?
I enjoyed it with all the old school stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't really know if that's just like Vince McMahon's making all these steps along the list to comfortably sell everything, and that's part of it. Who really knows? I mean, that's what it looks like, right? There's no other reason why they would be firing all these fucking people and doing all this shit unless they want returns to look really good because they're going to sell it. It's not doing them any fucking favors.
And the other time they sign guys just so nobody else can have them.
Right.
Now they're firing everybody.
So I think we're probably going to end up seeing that. But, you know, I mess around with some guys in a company called UCW. We're doing some interesting things. And your name is one of the names that has been tossed around as somebody to come in and check out the scene and see what's going on and you know, wrestle and help us do different things. Like, have you seen anything we've been doing?
No.
Urban Combat Wrestling?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's his name? Damien Bristol?
Yeah, Spaceman.
Yeah. I've talked to him quite a bit. Yeah. I've actually talked to him on the phone. He's reached out to me and got my opinion on a few things and stuff like that. But nothing yet about, you know, coming in there or anything like that. But yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so we're doing this whole new thing, right? And it's Urban Combat World. We got a podcast that's getting ready to come out here soon. And this is kind of like a precursor to that, bringing people that we respect in the business, talking about wrestling, talking about entertainment, and just building kind of this creative community and getting really creative with the way that we work and doing promos. And it will be like the wildest studio wrestling entertainment event ever, you know, that's like real to the whole situation in every way. Like, we were having a freestyle cypher rap session there the other day at this rim shop called Cars and Bars. That's where the ring's set up, and there's like all this fucking badass graffiti that they've had put on the walls and shit. And like, we've been talking about making like factions of rappers pairing off with certain wrestlers and having their own groups and shit. And like,
that's right. I used to freestyle back in the day. I don't know if I could.
Dude, I love it.
I used to do it back in the day.
I love it.
I'm a major hip hop dude, man. I'm major old school IEPMG.
Top 5. Who do you got?
Top 5. I can't put them in order, but I'd probably go, you know, Eric B. Rakim, EPMD, Redman, Jadakiss. Shit. I could probably break out some old school stuff that a lot of people probably don't remember, but I love I love my hip hop, man. And like
What
I
do you
said,
think
I
about
had
Big L?
oh dude, why'd he have to pass away so fucking early?
Right, right
I love some
before.
Big L. I love some Big L.
Yeah, he could have been
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
But like you said, why that happens so
There's
much?
quite a few that we asked about why so early.
Any newer guys that you're into or gals?
Oh, yeah, the newer ones, man. I really like Schoolboy Q. I love
Okay,
Schoolboy Q. Uh, shoot, there's that Joyner Lucas kid.
dude.
Um,
Yeah, he's insane.
Joyner Lucas kid. Like Logic. Uh, there's quite a few. I listen to Schoolboy Q Pandora station quite a bit, and they shoot out quite a few of the newscats. What's this? God, now I'm like put me on the spot. I'm like going
Well, we're
blank.
just having
I'm
fun.
like,
There there's some interesting guys that I've been checking out. One of these
I'm a
guys
big
that
Pusha T fan.
Pusher
Clips,
T.
Pusha T. They're right there from Virginia Beach with Teddy Riley and all them guys.
Oh yeah, you are a 757 guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you know about
that's
those the JJ Kelly baseball team? Did you ever hear about
JJ
them?
Kelly.
JJ Kelly
No.
from Wise, Virginia. We got it was something like 9 state
Yes.
championships in baseball or something.
Was that in high school
Yeah.
or okay? Because I played adult league ball for a little while, 18
Yeah.
and over after high school and all that. And there was, I swear that sounds like a familiar name from Wise, Virginia. We used to play.
Yeah. Chad Longworth played there and he went to the MLB. He played MLB. There was a wide receiver named Carroll Dell that played with Bart Starr in the Green Bay Packers in the first 2 Super Bowls, and he graduated from there.
I know when I played, I had, you remember a guy named Wayne Gomes that was like a reliever for the Phillies and a
Yep.
couple other teams. I played with him. There was a cat that played for man, I want to say maybe Denby or something, but his name was Aaron Monday. But he went on. There was Aaron
Mm.
Monday from there, and there was a Todd Kelly from Bethel High School that both went to the
Todd
NFL.
Kelly,
Aaron
wait a
Monday,
minute.
he played for San Francisco 49ers.
So he was a
Um,
quarterback, right?
no, in high school we played baseball. He played baseball and he played
Uh,
football, but I think he defensive
Todd Kelly. Who
yeah,
was the
defense
Kelly
end.
quarterback back in the day I'm thinking of? Anyway,
Yeah, but he
that's
played
what's
for the
up.
same school that Iverson came through. Iverson
I
came
was going
through
to ask you
Ohio State.
about, did you ever have, because you were right around the same time period as AI,
Well,
right?
I was a few years before him, but he
Okay.
like Bethel was a rival, rival high school of mine. I went to Kick Bethel was in our district. But yeah, I knew all about Bubba Chuck, as they called him. He was a better football player than he was basketball. I mean,
Those highlight videos
yeah,
are just like watching Barry Sanders or something, dude.
yeah,
It's
he just
insane.
had the Charlie Ward syndrome, just too short to be quarterback in the
Yeah,
NFL.
right, right.
He was
And
badass.
but as a kick returner, I mean, he could have been Devin Hester level. Like,
I could tell you a funny story with him. We saw him, we see him around town all the time growing up
yeah,
there during those times. But just recently, I'm a sneakerhead also, and I bought these
right.
Iverson Candylands. They're based off the Candyland game. And we
That's
just
pretty
went back
cool.
home. We just went back home, and we were in the mall, Patrick Henry Mall in Newport News, and I was actually going in there to get the Royal Blue Griffies, and I had on the Jackie Robinson Griffies, the
Oh,
rare ones that just came out. So I was in the store, and there's a couple black guys in line was talking about different shoes and this and that. And I was like, "Yeah, man, I just got these Candyland Iverson, man. Have you seen those yet?" And they were like, "Oh, man." So I was showing them pictures of it and everything. And then the dude looks up and he goes, "Oh shit, look right there." And I look right behind, and Iverson's standing right behind us. My wife was like,
dude.
"Holy shit, it's Iverson." And I was like, "Yes, honey, it's Iverson." he was on the phone, so I didn't say nothing to him. And then I was like, I could not have on the damn shoes. So he
Yeah, dude. One of the sickest motherfuckers like had handles. Oh my God. You were saying,
he
you know, he's
single-handedly took them 76ers to the championship. Single-handedly by
who else
himself.
could do that?
There won't many.
Nobody.
There won't many.
Nobody. God,
He
but
was
he was just
badass
so fucking wild, man. Like so wild.
and
You know,
real. Very real. He didn't change for
well,
nobody.
you know that shit that went down where he got in trouble and it almost
So
fucked
at the
up
bowling
everything.
alley, at the bowling alley.
That whole situation, one man couldn't do all that.
No, it was. That
How
was a
can
whole
one
bunch
man
of
take the
people.
rap for all that?
Yeah, it was because of who he was.
They wanted to take everything from him, man. They
Thank
did.
God the was the governor or the mayor stepped in and parked his ass.
Jesus. I mean, come on, dude. We could not even be having this conversation right now. You know what I mean? And that's just so fucked up, man. Because
And we're
somebody,
talking about a Hall of Famer. Hall of
yeah,
Famer.
yeah, so talented. It was just ridiculously stupid. He just pissed everybody off all the time. It was great. Him and Randy Moss around at the same time were just like, I was sitting there sucking this like charisma in of these two dudes that would just dominate and then tell everybody to go fuck themselves. Like they're going to do them, you know? And I loved that shit. I got banned from basketball for a little while because I got fouled out of a game and as a basketball game. And as I was walking off the court, I did the whole moon, because I wore 2 pairs of basketball shorts like Jordan. So I pulled one of them down and mooned the opposing fans. And my coach just like kicked me off the team pretty much, like banned me and all this stuff. But for me, that you got into the game, you expressed yourself, you know, it was my heroes did it. You know, Rodman was one of my heroes and shit too. Like, you know,
Yeah, Rodman was cool. Yeah.
so I just fucking love that heel aspect. That's why for me, one of the questions actually on that we had was whether you liked being a baby face or a heel more, or have you ever gotten to be a baby face, and if you did, which one did you like more?
I don't mind either one because I've been blessed and lucky to where my Damien Wayne doesn't have to change.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's just who I was wrestling. Um, so being either or, really, I enjoy it. Being a heel makes things easier, especially if you're wrestling somebody young or green or something like that. So if I got a good heel that I love, I don't have no problems going out there and baby facing it up. But
right.
it's a funny thing I say, I'm like, it's like I said earlier, too many heels want to be cool and this and that. And I tell guys, I'm a baby face on this show, and I'll bet you my payoff versus your payoff, I'll cheat more in my match than every heel in this locker room together. Seriously. So,
Yeah.
my character got lucky to where it's the Austin syndrome, the Road Warrior syndrome, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
Go out there and my son, like I said, my son saw that I just joined this
Oh yeah.
Discord, and he's over here blowing me up.
Hell yeah.
I kept declining it. Now he's calling me on his telephone.
Welcome to the club, brother. Now you're on Discord.
So yeah, I got lucky to where, some people might think it's a curse because they don't know how to handle it, but I can spit at old ladies and set babies on fire, and I get cheered. So, and I mean,
What a combo!
as a heel. I can do my job as a heel and have them pissed off, but then I'm still over like Rover. So,
dude, and I have a hard time balancing that a little bit because that happens to me sometimes as well. And like, I've had people even be like, "Nah, dude, why didn't you let that guy buy you a drink?" Or why are you just like, the show's over, man? Like, loosen up. Everything's good now. And I'm like telling people to get the fuck away from me or all that, especially if we lose, And it's like, when do you fucking turn that off? I don't know. Maybe I don't want to until it's
Exactly.
time for that to happen. So I don't know. I haven't figured out exactly that moment when it's okay for me to step away after a match.
Yeah, it can. Yeah, it's hard sometimes to.
It makes you feel like a fucking idiot when nobody else wants to still believe in that situation. When everybody's like, all right, we're done with this, we're pulling out, and you're still like, no, what the fuck are you talking about? This is who I am, motherfucker. Like, what are you talking about?
Yep, you're right.
And I don't know. The bar shows are the one that has happened at, because we're usually there after the fact.
Yeah.
And then everybody wants to come chill, and it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's one of them that's and people sit there and say, well, you preach all this great kayfabe stuff, and then after the show, well, it's kind of like you said, it's that thin line, and I'm not a dick to fans after the show or even during intermission. I'm cool with them and whatnot when I'm a heel, but majority of the fans that come to these shows, they get it. So, you got your one or two that think that you need to be nice to them, but most of them get it to where if you do try to be a little prick, or you just not comment here or there, or whatnot,
Yeah.
they get it. They're like, okay, it's his character, So, like you said, it's that thin line. You just got to kind of know how to toe it, and this and that, and sometimes you just don't know how to toe it, and you
it gets weird. It's murky.
It does. It's like
murky.
Why are heels out there selling? You preach this kayfabe, but you go out there and sell what do you do, man? Seriously.
Hey, I work for money.
I mean, it's not like the old school. It's not like It's not like if I'm a heel and Joe blows the baby and I can't go sell my gimmick, but he's selling his. Is he going to give me half of his gimmick money because I'm a heel in his match that night, like they did back in the day?
That's some old school shit. That ain't happening now.
Yeah. Nah, they ain't doing that now.
No, no way. And that's one of those things that, like, it really bothers me, because there's all of these fucking double standards from people that are like, well, I'm this serious about this, and I'm so serious, and then it's like, about this, like, how are you going to dog people and do all this fucked up shit and claim you're mad and throw a fit over this, and then at the same time, here you go, and you're doing this gaga shit, and you walk out there and you're the fucking promoter and you clothesline two heels that you have no business in the ring with. What are you doing?
Exactly. Yeah. Wrestling's evolving. Yeah. Okay.
Like, fuck, dude. It's so ridiculous.
That's not evolving.
No.
Dildo spots ain't evolving.
No.
This stuff is. Yeah, none of that is evolved. Wrestling evolved.
Now, I would argue that if I were to whip somebody's ass and they were like unconscious and bloody, and I slapped them a couple times with a dildo just to be a fucking ass, that would be fucking funny. Mushroom stamp, bitch, drop the mic, slap them, walk out. That would be, now we got to have a hardcore match after that. Now it's got to be somebody dies at the end of this match.
He slapped me with a dildo.
He slapped me with a dildo. Only my wife does that. Fuck this guy. Like, or something. But, yeah, it's interesting, the shit that goes on. One of the things that really fucking blows my mind, like, I was taught, you are a trained professional wrestler. I put thousands of dollars into learning how to wrestle. Going out and wrestling for exposure is a gimmick.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's working you if you're doing that.
I just talked about all the indie guys getting their little AEW Dark and evaluation matches. And now they're as seen on AEW Superstar. Come
Yeah.
on, dude. Y'all are driving down there on your own dime, hanging around, hoping to talk to somebody. And for
Who
one,
can I take a picture
there's
with?
that, or you already know somebody there that can hook you up, but you're still driving down there on your own dime. You're still staying in a hotel on your own dime. You're still spending your own gas on your own dime.
Yeah.
And then if you notice, most of them got that one match, and then that's it. You don't. They're not on there anymore. They're one and done.
Yeah, and
Nine
some
out
of
of ten of
that,
them are one
like,
and done.
I wouldn't even want people to know. Hell, if that was me, hell, I wouldn't tell them. If somebody came up to me and they said to me right now, we want you to go try out for AEW right now, I'm going to be like, why? Why do you want me to go out there unless you're going to let me wrestle the way that I can wrestle, that looks good, that's going to work, that's going to be funny, that's going to look like, a guy who ran his fucking mouth, went in there and tried to whip somebody's ass the best he could, but it didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to let me do that. They want the spots and I got hit in the back of the head, so this is the only thing that happens the whole time, no matter where I get hit. And that's not what I do.
No, no. And I see most of them, I'm like, I was just on a show with that guy at this place, and dude he stunk the place up in front of 50 people. And now he thinks he's something, doing a dark match on TV.
Yeah.
Come on now. Seriously.
No.
I don't get it sometimes. I mean, I'm all for somebody taking that opportunity or whatnot, but majority of them, it goes to their head.
Well, what's the popularity contest, man? What is it?
I don't know, man.
What is it?
But I did a lot of work for WWE. I did a lot of work for Ring of Honor. Hell, I wrestled for the Ring of Honor World Title. Did you ever see me on a poster that said former Ring of Honor superstar or as seen on Ring of Honor? No. And if I ever saw a promoter put that on, dude, take that shit off.
Yeah.
Please, take that shit off.
Yeah, because you're like, the name speaks for its fucking self, man. You can Google your fucking name. There's a body of work out there that speaks for itself. And every time that I've seen stuff that you've posted and things that other people have posted with you in it, like your work speaks for itself. People know you for a reason. To me, it's just like needing an exclamation point next to your name. It's like needing to make sure, bold print, I'm relevant, by the way. Instead of people being like, oh, I know that name. That means way more. Like my tag team partner, AC Reddick, was a background actor on Army Wives a couple of times. So we've been thinking about putting as seen on Army Wives.
Yeah.
And
I was stunt double for heels. I think I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. I forgot about that, dude. How was that? That had to be so fun.
Dude, that was fucking cool as shit. I mean, a learning experience from hell. It was wild. I loved every minute of it. And I took it in like I did wrestling, man. I could have been on set from 5:30 a.m. till 1:30 at night, not leaving at all, and maybe did 10 minutes worth of work. And the rest was just getting to sit around, but I didn't just sit around. I went over there, sat behind the producer's chair. I sat behind the director's chair. I was studying what everybody was doing and how things were done. That's just me. That's how I am. That was same way with wrestling. Man. I got into I didn't want to just be a wrestler. I wanted to learn booking. I wanted to learn what all that goes on behind the scenes. That's just me. So that was a wild experience, man. I loved it.
That is very cool, man. Yeah, I completely forgot that you did that, and I keep forgetting about that show. Like, I haven't watched it yet, but I plan on subscribing. What is it? It's on Stars, right?
Stars, yeah. Stars, yeah. It's pretty. It's got a pretty good little story to it, and got some pretty cool, wrestling action in it. And it's
Yeah.
pretty realistic, realistic based, and uh, so it's pretty good. I just announced season 2 is going to be up and coming, but rumor is it may not be till a year or two. But we got season 2 coming up, and I got my fingers crossed that I'll be able to. When I dressed up as Wild Bill, man. I fooled quite a few people that come up and talk to me thinking I was the actor,
Yeah.
this and that. So I don't see why I wouldn't maybe get the shot at it again. So fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
That's what's up, man. And it's always cool that when they do something like that, they actually get workers to do work on the fucking show.
Yeah,
Like, you
yeah.
know,
Well, Luke Hawks was the stunt coordinator, and he had a bunch of his Wildcat guys out there, and they needed a ball-headed guy for that character. They early in the scenes they had I think they had Stevie Richards doing it at first. But
mm,
Stevie's got that long hair and everything like that. And I guess I don't know if that whatnot caused a problem or whatnot, but they wanted a ball-headed guy after that. And Luke reached out to me, and so, hell yeah,
hell yeah.
definitely. So got out there, and when they make me put the makeup on, it was pretty wild, man. How close that me and Wild Bill were, and then being out there, got the opportunity to. I also stunt doubled for Gully, who's a Charles Gully. He's the evil promoter of the rival promotion
Yeah.
down in Florida. Yeah.
The
But
Florida
yeah,
the Florida guys.
yeah, so they needed somebody for him, and they were like, "Dude, you're freaking perfect for that." But the scene has Wild Bill in it too, and so it was Gully taking a clothesline on the floor from Wild Bill. So we taught the actor for Wild Bill how to throw the clothesline, so I could dress
Right.
up as Gully and take the bump on the floor. So yeah, and then
So you took all the bumps for both characters?
well, kind of giving it away. I'm in episode 7 and 8, which there's 8 episodes in season 1. I'm in the last 2. Um, there's a scene where they're doing like a tryout, and Wild Bill walks in and wants to show, he's the grizzled old veteran and still think his shit stinks. And he gets in there and he ends up messing with the dude that's trying to run the thing. He couldn't chain wrestle, so he kicks him out of the ring. And then the girl you'll see there's a girl, Crystal, who starts as a valet, but she wants to wrestle, and she's there trying out, and she tries to punk Wild Bill out. So they do a chain wrestling spot, which goes into the tilt-a-whirl, head scissors, and this and
Yeah.
that. So I did all that chain wrestling, dressed as Wild Bill, and then the blow off thing was the big 3-way ladder match for the heavyweight title between the 2 brothers and Wild Bill. And I took climbed up the ladder, and they pushed the ladder over. I took the bump on the top rope and flipped out of the ring. And then with Gully, there's one where he's at his show in his ring, and Jack Spade, who's Stephen Amell, he slides in the ring and beats Gully up. So I took that beating, and then the clothesline on the floor. So yeah, it was a pretty wild experience, man.
Yeah, dude.
I got the bug. Believe me, I want to do more.
Well, acting was like my first thing. Like I was put into creative art camps and theater camps when I was like 6 and 7 years old. And I was also playing football. So I was always into like contact sports and theater. Always did that shit. And wrestling is just like that. It's like combat sports and theater. So you get like the personalities of the jocks and the drama nerds slammed together. And it's just this incredible, it's just a bunch of crazy motherfuckers, man. It's just a bunch of incredibly...
Beautiful when done right.
Yeah, a bunch of incredibly brilliant, crazy motherfuckers, man, doing just some of the coolest shit. If you would have ever told me that a professional wrestler who is blonde and a surfer boy bodybuilder is going to take the gimmick from the Crow and win over millions of people, I'd be like, you're fucking crazy. That doesn't even make sense. In wrestling, why would the Crow work in wrestling?
And not even talk for a year.
And not even talk for a year. How the fuck? He never even wrestles, and he's one of the most popular wrestlers out there.
Yeah.
And
no
it's
shit.
just, that's the fucking beautiful theater of it. Everybody was invested in that. Everybody wanted to see this evil NWO defeated, you know. It doesn't make any sense. The same could be said for, like, The Undertaker. You know, people talk about The Undertaker. In fact, we have a question about whether or not you like The Undertaker, and if you do, your favorite Undertaker match that wasn't on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, I like Taker because people bitch about his no selling, but he made his no selling make sense. Plus, he's plus he's 6'8", 320. He can no sell quite a few people.
And zombies usually do no sell everything. So.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I love Taker's work. And as for favorite match, it's hard for me. I'm not one of them guys that can be like, oh yeah, Taker versus so and so on this date at this date. Yeah.
Me either.
I couldn't tell you for. I know he's wrestled all the guys, and I enjoyed all his matches with him. I don't think there's. I would, if I had to pick one, and I guess it's because I'm such a fan of the other guy he worked, his matches with Brock.
Yeah.
I love Brock Lesnar. So them two.
Talk about believability.
Each other. Hey, the most believable guy in the business right now.
The hard way, that Randy Orton hard way.
Yep.
When was the last time some shit went down like that in WWE? That was brutal. That was uncomfortable to watch. That suspended my disbelief like a motherfucker.
Well, I like when old Braun Strowman was in there throwing haymakers. And
oh yeah,
slow down.
He went, don't press the reset button on him real quick, didn't he? He went, oh, I'm not the baddest motherfucker in here right now at all.
But the thing is like with Brock, he's even better against smaller guys like AJ.
Dude, that match was fucking great, dude. It was great.
His selling for these smaller guys is so believable and freaking amazing. I can't believe people shit on Brock like they do, dude.
They do.
Seriously.
Hey, and people say he doesn't care about the business and this and that. And it's like, dude, he never needed to ever fuck with wrestling again after he was UFC champion. It ain't for money, dude. He really doesn't need that money.
Smart. He is so smart because they're like, are you a part-timer? No. He comes for his 6 months, and then he disappears so that you don't get tired.
Dude.
When he disappears, what is everybody doing? We want Brock back.
Right. And you know, do you think Paul Heyman would be fucking with him if he didn't care about the business? Would he really? Probably not.
You could just see his matches. If he didn't care about the business, he wouldn't be putting on the matches that he does.
No, he's sacrificed a lot. He has.
And he don't have to go in there and sell for these small guys.
No.
He don't have to put them small guys over. He makes them look like freaking superstars.
Like that Paul Heyman fucking promo he cut about what if Brock Lesnar just beat The Undertaker because he wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
What if? It's like even though you know how the business works, and you know that the likelihood of that is very slim, it is not impossible at all. That could 100% be the case. You know, and I've heard and seen videos of people like going back to Vince McMahon being like, you know, fuck you and throwing shit at him and all this other shit. And like, Brock Lesnar might just have to look at you the right way, you know, and you get that you don't want that situation. But I do think it's badass that fucking Jericho stood up to him.
Oh, yeah.
And wanted to go.
He would have got his ass whipped.
But he was there. The principle of it, though, like, I'm not going to argue with that, but like, dude, this guy has a widely successful rock band. He's got, you know, he's going to go down in the wrestling books when he retires as one of the greatest to ever do it, without a shadow of a doubt. And he's willing to risk his life to step up to Brock Lesnar because he's got to take up for the boys, you know. What the fuck? That's That's a real G, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty
He's
fucking
stepped up to
gangster.
quite a few people, so I'll give him that. And he got in Goldberg's face too.
Yeah. Is there ever a moment where you've had to just be like, this is where it gets real for me backstage?
Um, no, I don't think I've ever had to be put in a situation like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I honestly, you know, my reputation and my whatnot, I guess it's good and bad in a way because
Yeah.
there's some people who get that reputation of me and they're like, he's the ass until they meet me. And then the reputation of this dude's one of the coolest vets you'll ever fucking meet. He'll fucking help you out in every damn way he could possibly help you. But so being in that spot, having to make things real or something. Thank God, after 20 years, I've never had to really spot.
Well, that's what's up. And I'm the same. I've never had any issue where I thought stuff was going to get physical between me and somebody else. I've had words with people, not many, but it's happened a couple of times. And
Well,
it's been over
it's like
quick, you know.
it's like Flair says, one thing handling personal business shouldn't happen in the ring.
No,
Shouldn't happen
hell
in other
no.
things. And you got your life's in my hand and my life's in your hand. If we want to be men and go out back and settle something, then that's perfectly fine. We can do that.
Yeah.
But I don't have to like you to get in that ring and perform with you.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to take any liberties on this because I don't like you. I want to have a good match when I'm in front of the crowd,
Yeah.
not do something that's going to be stupid.
No, you
Yeah,
got to
and
have
I
100% trust.
yeah, and when I booked, I told guy I don't have to like you to book you. If I think you can add to my show, or this guy wants to work you, and I think you're actually pretty fucking good, I just don't like you personally. I
Yeah.
don't have to like you to book you. We can be business partners. We ain't gotta be personal partners.
Wow,
Some
professionalism.
people don't get some people don't get that
What
either.
about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
I
feel
can shake
that.
your hand. I can shake your hand and be professional with you at the show and whatnot. If I think you can add to my show, that you're talented, just you might be
Yeah.
a dickhead.
Yeah, I don't have to get it to respect somebody's talent either. I
No.
know a lot of people that'll be like, well, that's fucking stupid, or that's this, or that's that. But like, if they're drawing, we can make their angle work. It's not like a stupid angle or something like, or way offensive in a way that's just like, we don't want to touch that. Some people have gimmicks that are just like, man, what are you thinking? Like, we can't even put that on the poster.
And they think it's cool. Oh yeah, dude, come on now.
I mean, you can
Or some of the
throw
stuff they
some of
do
that
on
shock
shows.
stuff in there. Like, you can throw some of it in there, but it's like, if that's the whole thing, what's the deal? Like, Guar doesn't go around with their little prosthetics shooting people in the face with fake blood and stuff. The first, like, note that's played, it's like in the middle of
Yeah,
the song, or it's like has a place, There's a place for even the most ridiculous shit, but you have to explain it. It can't just be there and be this big distraction.
it's true.
It's ridiculous. Like, nobody can tell me that it's not ridiculous that, like, Jim Cornette got his face smashed into cake beside the ring. That's stupid. But not if you know who Jim Cornette is and not
Exactly.
why. You know, that makes that ridiculous shit matter because him getting that cake to the face had been built up to for months.
Yep. And major pop. That little studio went nuts.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about working spot shows versus being at a place where you can work a series of matches, knowing that there's going to be story involved and creating a little bit of a story in comparison to just being like, hey, I'm here, watch this match, I do moves, bye.
Well, I was getting ready to bring this topic up when we were talking about Brock and how he comes and goes.
Yeah.
And That way you can't get wore out or tired of it.
Right.
Um, I would say probably 19 of my 20 years has almost been like that because I haven't really, I don't, I've never settled into a promotion long enough. I've never been part of any cliques or a little buddy system. I, I traveled and wanted to travel. I might be at this place 2 times a year,
Yeah.
2 times every 6 months. And I kind of I like to call myself the modern day like Abdullah or Brody.
Mm-hmm.
They came into a territory, they were there for 4 or 5 months, worked the top baby face, and then was gone. And then
Yes.
they might have been back. They might have been back a year or two later. That's how I've been my whole career, and I I complain about it sometimes because I'm like, dude, I would really like to be a part of a big storyline or a big angle or
Mm-hmm.
this or that. But I've only had a handful, maybe, if that. I could probably count on one hand the major storylines or angles I've been a part of in
Yeah.
20 years. Um, had a like my stint with the 3 times with the NWA national title. I just wanted to travel and defend the belt. I didn't. It wasn't. Hey, I'm gonna stick in this area and do this little storyline here, and then go.
Right.
And no, I just went here, went there, went here, went there, went here, and there. Uh, my first AWF World Title run, same way. This title run here, same way. I just I want to be that travel. I like being that traveling champion.
Right.
I made the comment on one of my posts. I was like, I think I would have made a great traveling champion in the '80s
Yeah.
because I understand, I get it. The object is, it's like I tell guys, I'm like, dude, on the totem pole, I'm the last on the totem. My fans or the crowd and my opponent are the top 2 guys on the totem pole. If I take care of them two, then me at the bottom is going to be taken care of.
Right.
So I get, I'm one of the few that actually gets that. So I love and enjoy going to different places and putting me in with their top baby or whatnot and
Right.
doing that, and putting that guy over. I might be the champ and still walk out with the belt, but
How did that
that guy's
happen?
over when I leave.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dusty finishes and everything
Yep.
else. And I leave, and that guy is that much bigger. Hey, he just beat
Right.
the freaking world champion. He might not be the champ, but he pinned him.
We
We
know.
saw
Yeah,
it.
we know.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
I love that. I enjoy it. And I tell a lot of guys that reach a lot, especially new ones that reach out, promoters or bookers, and they're, I'm like, dude, don't think just, I got a little small name value, but don't think that you can't bring me in and you can't do this and you can't do that because I'm Damien Wayne. Dude, I love coming in and working your little top baby face. And, dude, winning or losing is the last motherfucking thing to me. You
Right.
want me to come in and help you? I want to help the kid, put me in with a young kid. Because I'm the type that can get in the ring and work and help these guys because I'm not worried about me. I ain't got no shit to get in. I ain't got no move set.
Right.
Nothing. If you're booking me to work and help this kid, then I'm going in working and helping the kid. I ain't worried about anything else. So I enjoy doing that. That's
You helped me a lot. Like, it opened my eyes a lot. That little spot that you ran with Ricky when you came out and trained us to clap with the referee and selling that you got punched, and then how to make the punch really fucking matter. I've done that so many times. Like, I've used that spot so many times. When I went to that training camp out at FSW, I used it, and they didn't know what the fuck to think. Because everybody's doing all this other shit, out there near Nevada and shit. It's a lot of lucha libre, and they're going quick, and it's all this other shit. And I pulled that out of the bag, and they were like, what the fuck was that?
Well, it's like I told y'all when I first got in his ring, I was like, Ricky would be my ultimate opponent. Because I know I could punch him one time.
Yeah.
And we could work it for 5 minutes without even touching each other.
Yeah.
Again. And that's because he knows how to sell and I know how to heal. So people don't understand that. They're like, Well, why would you just punch him once and walk away?
Dude, he's so
It's
smart,
wrestling,
dude. Like
dude.
his ability to sell and where to place himself, and just even stuff like raising your arms up at the right time and stuff like being theatrical and putting on an actual show for people. He's so good.
He was my very first name I ever wrestled.
Yeah.
And he was my very first cage match I was ever in.
Oh my God.
Yep. It was funny because the company brought, I was the company champion. They brought Ricky in. Friday night, I wrestled him and lost the belt to him. And then Saturday night, we did a cage match and I won it back. And he put me over. I mean, he even bled for me.
Oh,
Put
yeah.
me over like a motherfucker. And then ever since then, has treated me like he's known me all his life.
Dude, he's great. I love Ricky.
I didn't see him for 8 months. I didn't see him for 8 months later after that. I saw him at the NWA Legends Convention in Charlotte. And I saw him down the hall. And I told my wife, I was my second wife at the time, I was like, there's Ricky. I want to go say hi to Ricky Morton. And I walked down the hall as he was coming towards me, and I put my hand out to shake his hand, and he slapped my hand out of the way and said, give me a big hug, dog. Come here, man. Come here, give me a big hug. Love you, buddy. It's been a while since I've seen you. Dude, you remembered who I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great fucking dude, man.
Such a great dude. Such a great teacher. Such a funny. God, dude, people just... it doesn't stop, dude. He is fucking hilarious.
Dude, the funniest thing he ever did is he was in the locker. He stood up and he goes, guys, what's this? And we were all, I don't know, Ricky, what is it? He's like, that's Robert Gibson saying you can't see me.
Shit,
you fucking kidding me, Ricky.
He's so bad, dude. He's so bad about that shit, man. He rags on Robert, and Robert will be standing right here, and he'll be talking the maddest shit. But you got to imagine those two, you know what they've been through, man. Jesus, dude. Oh my God. The first name that I ever got to work was Boogie. The Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant.
I've had great times with him.
Oh my God, dude. He is another guy that is fucking hilarious, dude.
Oh, dude, he is. God, I love him to death too, man. There's video of me beating him up at AML. That was pretty fun. And then he supposedly had his last match not too long ago here in Tennessee. We did a 6-man gimmick, and I had him to get me out of the picture. He snuck in behind me and put me in the sleeper.
Yeah.
He was talking to me as we're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him today. He's a good guy. And I'll tell you a funny story about him. He was here for a show close by, and he was actually at the tattoo shop there that sponsored the wrestling show that we were at. And me and my wife a couple of times has got tattoos there from the guy, and we went there before the show to where Jimmy Valiant and Gary Valiant and a couple others were there to meet and greet with Jimmy. So we stopped in there, and my wife has got she had the four of her dogs' names on her leg with the paw, and we just got the puppy at the time. She's 2 years old now, but we named her Boogie. And so we're sitting in there, and the wife goes, Paul, I need to get another name on my leg. I need to get Boogie on my leg for our new puppy, and da-da-da-da. And Jimmy spoke up and looked at her and said, honey, just because you're getting Boogie tattooed on your leg doesn't mean I'm getting Damien tattooed on mine. And I just rolled ever since on that. I was like, every time I see him now, I'm like, Jimmy, you got that tattoo of my name yet?
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious. And he's wild like that too, man. He's been around and I mean, throughout generation after generation, dude. It's just like he's a mythological beast. It's not even like he's a man, you know. And he's so funny. Like, we were in a match that was a 6-man tag match, I believe. It was crazy. There's all kinds of people, and of course, Jimmy's laying out the match because of fucking course Jimmy's laying out the match, right? And somebody, this guy had been wrestling for like a year or two. He's trying to put in a spot. And Jimmy, like, just shut the fuck up and let Jimmy Valiant call the fucking match, all right? So we're all just sitting there like, okay, like, trying to pay attention. And he looks and goes, hey, brother. Shh. It just goes back, hey, it just, the guy finally got it. We're like, you get it? Shut the fuck up. Like, we're trying to let Jimmy call the match because it's going to be perfect. It's always fucking perfect. It always kills. It's always easy as hell. It's always super fun. And you're with a legend. It's an incredible experience that I've had quite a few times, actually. He let me fucking pin him once. And when, I was just like, what the fuck is happening right now? This is ridiculous. Now, of course, my partner had his ankles and was hiding, but he called that, not me.
Yeah.
That meant the world to me, man. I did not fucking deserve that. I still don't.
Yeah,
and he knows that.
Oh, yeah. He loves it, too. He loves it.
Yeah. And it's guys like that, man, oh, man, when the Mount Rushmore conversation comes up, they should really be in the conversation, man. And it's because of who owns shit and promoted that shit that they own better. That guys like, I mean, even Brody, still to this day, a lot of people still don't know how big of a deal that guy was and shit.
There's a lot of them that don't understand or get who they were. They just, yeah, you're right. They don't.
They don't.
It's my blood boils sometimes.
Yeah, but conversations like this help. We've had a few people watching and chiming in, which I didn't get to all the questions, and we're coming close to the end of our time, which I really appreciate. You sticking around and letting us pick your brain and have this conversation with you. It's been great. It's been really, really awesome.
I love it. I love it and appreciate it, man. Seriously.
Yeah. Is there anything that you want to let people know that you've been into, or how they can check in on you and check out what you going on?
The only thing really, Facebook, when I'm out in Facebook jail.
Yeah.
I've lost about 4 leave town for 30-day matches with Facebook, man. So I'm 0-4.
There you go. The
Zuckerberg. I need my Charlie Brown mask so I can beat Charlie Brown from out of town.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, when I'm, find me on Facebook, I keep everything on Facebook. I try to, I got a Twitter account, but I don't do much on Twitter. I got Instagram, but that's just really sharing pictures. So Facebook, I usually keep all my information, where I'm going to be at, all my shows. You can just look up Damien Wayne or Damien Wayne Costal. Find me there. I do have a merch site. It's prowrestlingentertainment.com/Damien Wayne. I got about 5 different t-shirts up there.
Hell yeah.
Plus I got stuff that they can get from me. I got coffee mugs, travel mugs. I got other t-shirts that we make here, sweatshirts, and I got all kinds of stuff you can get through me. So basically just hit me up on Facebook.
Hell yeah.
I try to keep it just then. It's hard enough to keep up with Facebook.
I know.
With everything else.
Yeah, it's difficult. Well, that's awesome, and y'all should definitely be checking him out. I mean, we're talking about a guy who, I mean, for me, having somebody say, "Hey, study this guy," Ricky Morton. I mean, renowned as one of the greatest of all time by a lot of people in tag team wrestling, or as a babyface even. I've heard people say he's one of the greatest baby faces ever.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Is telling me as a student, paying him for advice, this motherfucker right here. Jesus, dude. Coming in late into the game, you've done a hell of a job, to have that guy put you over. I mean, I could only imagine how I would feel if that were said about me by him.
It's things like that means the world more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, you have the respect of your peers for sure, and I am grateful to you for coming here and hanging out with all of us. You know, I'll put links when this video is posted. I'll be able to post in the description and everything links to your web page and your Facebook page, so people can check your merch out. Support independent wrestling, y'all. There's some talent out there. It's not all WWE. It's not all the big companies. I mean, there is some talent out there that will blow your mind if you just give it a chance.
I just we're talking quite a bit on the Hook situation, a lot of discussions, and I tell guys, you know, just because guys are on TV don't mean that they're better than you, and just because they're on TV don't mean they do things right. I could sit here all day. I could sit here all day and list guys that are on the indies that's never even had a shot at the national TV scene that are 10 times better than 90% of the people that are on TV. And the guys just don't, you know, and then when it comes to WWE, talent is the last thing on the totem pole.
Yeah. Well, they don't even accept wrestlers anymore, right?
Exactly.
They don't even want wrestlers anymore.
Why do you think they go get these collegiate athletes? Because they think they can teach them how to wrestle. And we find out very quick,
to be sports entertainers.
Teach anybody. Yeah. You can't just teach anybody how to wrestle.
You can't.
It don't work like that.
You can't. You got to go train with professional wrestlers to be a wrestler. But yeah, UCW, I mentioned it earlier, Urban Combat World is the overall name for everything, but Urban Combat Wrestling is a part of that. And hopefully we'll be able to see you there. Hopefully we can have you on the Urban Combat World podcast. We'll talk more about hip-hop, some more current event type things, and just get to know you better on an individual level if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah,
but we got a lot of cool shit going on with that whole rap and wrestling situation. And we've got like Stick Talk, which is a video game competition. We do different video games and record it, and we do some reaction videos and things like that. If you're interested in getting into more forms of media and getting out there, then we're trying to do that as well, you know. So
I'm game for it all. I'm not too good at video games, but I'll give it a shot. Hip hop, like I said, is right up my alley.
Yeah.
Hip hop head.
I'd love to hear those freestyle skills sometimes. You're going to have to dust the mic off and jump on a beat.
Yeah, you have to get me really lit to get that going.
Hey, well, I mean, we have a good time, that's for sure. So you never know what could happen. But I appreciate you, man. I'm going to let you go. We've had enough of your time, I'm sure. But it means a lot, again, that you showed up and we got to have this talk. Hopefully there'll be more in the future, and best of luck to you, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me. And I thank any guys that does this platform that allows me and you wrestlers to get our name out and shit like that, man. I thank all of y'all for that. I definitely appreciate you.
Awesome, brother. We'll talk to you later, man. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. You too, bud. Take care.
All right, y'all. So here's me. Here's my face. There you go. Hold on just a second. Let me get my camera on here. Where is my camera? God damn you. Well, anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and end the stream here without my face. Or you can see my face here. There you go. There's my face. Yeah, what a badass conversation with the unpredictable one, the Damien Wayne. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm going to be putting links to his merchandise and his Facebook page in the description of this video, so you can go and check him out. And don't forget Urban Combat World. It's a badass channel that I'm going to be involved with. We got a really cool podcast that we're going to be working on, a bunch of rap music, wrestling, video games, reaction videos, all that shit that you like. Nate's going to be involved in it with me as well. Mook the BTSG, Spaceman Jones from Spaceman Jones and the Mothership. My boy AC Reddick. You know, it's going to be a really good time. I think you guys are going to enjoy those conversations.